Yo, what's up? This is profGRob, and today I'm watching Kino's Journey, Episode 1. I know literally nothing about this show, so I'll be right back with you. Alright, so we're about 5 minutes into this, and I think I've got my idea of what it is. So, in this first episode, we're heading to a place where people are allowed to murder each other for whatever reason they want. That's like the one rule that they just don't have. You can murder anyone, doesn't fucking matter. And we're told this by a guy who seems to be a total fucking psychopath. He's the kind of person who would love to murder anyone he dislikes. And he's describing it, and he's talking about how... He's talking about that. He's talking it up. And I think I figured out what this is going to be. Before this scene, we had an intro where the main character, was talking to his bike named Hermes, and his bike is sentient. And he was talking about how he's going to keep traveling on and visit different places. So what I think Kino's journey is every episode they're going to take us to a new location, and that new location has some kind of interesting spin, and we're going to get to enjoy that. Kind of similar, I think, to that one Cartoon Network show, or that pilot that never got picked up, but it was called The Infinity Train or something, and it had this girl walking with a multi-personality robot, and every cart on the train was its own universe, and they had to get through the cart onto the next cart for whatever reason. So that's what I'm thinking this is going to be like. I'll let you know later on what I'm thinking. Okay, so we were just at this entrance gate. They've got this big Wall of China thing going on, and there's this gate, and at the gate there's like the customs officer tells you what you're getting yourself into. He's like, hey, you are well aware that anyone can kill you for whatever reason they want here, right? And that got me thinking. I like to think a lot about having tiny little experiment countries on islands. I've probably talked about this in a profcast, but no one watched those. So imagine if we had like an island, a small little society, secluded. I'm not saying separated from the rest of the world, but they were put into their own little area of land and given rules by some kind of like supervising entity that has created this small country for the purpose of observing how it performs. And such a country has rules like, you're allowed to kill anyone for whatever reason you want. What if we had tiny little communities like that, and we observed the effects that it has? Who knows, maybe being allowed to murder people will make murder happen less often, because if you kill someone, you can be damn well certain that one of their friends is going to kill you back, and the cops won't do anything about it. That's the thing to think about. Not sure how that would go, but hey, just putting it out there. Carrying on. Look at that gorgeous fucking lake. That lake is the foreground. Isn't that weird? Take a look at how that lake, you can tell it's on top of the ground, but I don't mean that in the sense that it's a body of water sitting on top of the ground. I mean, it looks like the grass is beneath the water there. How do I mean? I'm sure you know what I mean. You can see it for yourself. That water looks beautiful. It really pops out. So, what's this thing called Kino's Journey? Right. It looks like I've got it spot on. Every episode, we're going to see a new place. In this first episode, we explored a place where people can kill whoever they want. However, there's a slight caveat to that. You can attempt to kill whoever you want. The law will not do anything about it. But anyone who tries to murder another person or has killed another person, the rest of the community gangs up to kill. That's just the way they live, and it makes perfect sense to live that way. If everyone's going to kill you, then you would never want to do whatever the thing is that will make everyone kill you. Unless you can earn loyalty of a few people, but then they're all just signing up to die too. It's big numbers, So, yeah. What did I think of Kino's Journey? I thought it was a very calm experience. Very, honestly, there were different times during this. where it would show us elderly people or calm-looking people that you'd expect to see at a family reunion. These normal people, and you see them carrying a gun in their purse, or they have a shotgun mounted, and whenever the main character asks them about that, they're like, "Oh, that's to kill people with." And the main character will ask, "When would you kill someone?" And they're like, you never really know. You never know when it's going to happen until it does happen. It presents to you a lot of situations that make you think about something, and most shows would pander to you, and they would have the characters themselves ask the questions that you, the reader, you, the viewer, would ask yourself. And then the characters themselves would come to their own conclusions. I like how, so far, this show has presented difficult or interesting questions to me, and the characters have acknowledged the existence of these questions, but they haven't gone into any detail with them. They leave me to think about these things. I really like that. That's a thought-provoking thing. It allows for a lot of good conversation to happen around this show. So I don't find it a surprise at all that there's been such a unanimous appraise of this show. So, what do I think of Kino so far? I think it's pretty great. Will I continue to think that after doing my research? You're about to find out. Alright, Kino's Journey. For the first time ever, I actually did the research on this one just minutes after finishing the first episode. So what can I tell you? First things first, the anime that we're watching right now is not the first time that this thing has had an anime adaptation. It had another one early on in the 2000s. So, Kino's Journey. It's a light novel series that is continuing to be made up until today, and just recently, in late 2017, is when this series had its second anime adaptation. What can I say about it? I was basically spot on when I said that Kino's Journey is just going to be self-contained episodes of a person experiencing different mystical one-off places with some unique twist on each of them. It doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of long plot. Maybe we'll see development of Kino, or maybe we're just going to be maybe this show, from what I've gathered, isn't even really about Kino, who is a girl, by the way. I might have referred to them as he, because that's my default pronoun that I use, but it's actually a girl traveling with their motorcycle Hermes. So, this show doesn't really seem to be about the characters. It's more about the locations that they go to. The characters in themselves aren't really people. They're just excuses to move. Kino is the excuse to leave, and Hermes appears to just be the means by which Kino can leave. Making Hermes a motorcycle that is sentient, I don't know what the deal is with that. I don't know why they chose to do that, but it does have the benefit of reducing the baggage. You don't have a second person alongside Kino that you have to worry about their interpersonal relationship. It's just a motorcycle who is sentient. I'm not entirely sure if these are produced or if there's some kind of magical thing about Hermes, but from whatever the case, you don't really need to worry about the relationship between a being that might be like centuries old and a human with an infinitely shorter lifespan. So, I think that's a great step they took. It really allows them to not worry about the relationship between Kino and Hermes so much per episode. There's probably going to be development there over the long term, but really every episode is just about exploring as much of each of the general facets of whatever one-off thing they throw at us. So, alright, all that nonsense aside, will I continue to watch Kino? Honestly, it's not like anything I've seen up until this point. I haven't watched many light novel adaptations. I don't know what to expect. This is a growing experience for me, but the first episode was solidly done. It was thought-provoking. It explored things just enough to let me think about them so that I can make my own opinions to share with people, but it didn't go so deep into them that you're going to hear a bunch of people saying the same thing. At least, I don't think that's what's going to happen. But who fucking knows? I don't know if Kino's Journey has any big community behind it, but I'll find out. I'll look around. Will I continue to watch Kino's Journey? Yes, I will. Do I recommend you watch Kino's Journey? Honestly, take a look at the first episode. If it suits your fancy, maybe you'll enjoy the rest. It seems to just be a thing that you can sit down and enjoy. There's no real action to it. There's no real stakes. There's no real long-term care, as far as I can tell. If I'm wrong about that, if Kino's Journey is the most nuanced, fucking shaking the world, though I haven't heard about it from anyone, but if there's anything really awesome about this anime that I'm just not giving it proper credit for, then I will tell you all about that when I finish, which will probably be within the week, because this is a very short anime, only has 13 episodes. Now then, thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time I'm beginning a new anime. Before I let you go, though, I just want to say that I'm thinking of starting up a new series where I talk not about the anime themselves, but I pick a production company like Trigger, like anyone else like that, and I look at the big people in there and I look where they came from. I dissect that, I do the research, I gather information, and I lay it out to you in a structured, digestible way. Let me know what you think about that if anyone is even watching this. If that sounds like a thing you're interested in seeing, then leave a comment below telling me what you'd like to see out of a series like that. This is profGRob, and I'll see you next time.